All right, back with you. San Diego sports leader, it's the mighty 1090. Let's say hello to Rocky Long. He's the head coach at San Diego State. San Diego State 1-3. We know they lost over the weekend at Penn State. They do start conference play this Saturday night, 7:30. It's the battle for the oil can. Fresno State coming to town. Rocky, good to talk to you as always.
Hi, Darren. How are you?
I am doing well, thank you. All right, so let's look back here. Let's start just by looking back. You went on the road. You played at Penn State. Before I ask any of the particulars about the game itself, which you probably, I don't know if you want me to or if you don't, let me just start. Was it worth it? The program, from what I understand, was paid over $1 million to go to travel on the road to play at Penn State. Overall, big picture, Rocky, was it worth it for the program to go and do that?
I think absolutely. I think the payday is important to the whole athletic department because everybody in our situation is struggling for finances. But it also gave us a chance to compete with someone that is considered an all-time great football program, and they're pretty good. They're probably not where they were at one time, but they're pretty good. Their defensive front's as good as I've seen in a long time, and to be honest with you, we competed pretty well. So if we don't make some mistakes, we might pull an upset, and then it's really good for the program. But overall, it's good for the program.
Okay, and is that based, how much of that, I know there's probably no equation for it, but how much of it is it's good experience for us to go to play a program from one of the Power Five, and how much of it is just, this is just a sound financial decision. We don't get rich on our television deal, so we have to do this sort of thing just to bring money into the program?
I think it's both. I think we have to bring money into the program, so there's a financial issue involved. But more important than that, I think it gives us a chance to play against the Power 5 team. I really believe, and I don't know when it's going to happen, I really believe that we competed well. Sooner or later, we're not going to make mistakes, and we're going to beat one of those guys on the road. And when we do, it'll happen more often. And once you start beating a team like that on the road, all of a sudden recruiting gets better, attitudes gets better, confidence gets better, and all of a sudden you're a better team. Now, if you go just get manhandled and beat up really, really bad physically, it might ruin you for the rest of the year. But we did not. We didn't get manhandled. We made mistakes. That's the only reason we weren't in the game till the very end.
Out of curiosity, I don't know if this isn't a question for Jim Sturk, the athletic director, but I'll ask anyway because we have these weekly chats. What happens with that money? Where does that money go?
Oh, it goes into the general fund of the athletic department. There's a lot of expenses here, and there's only right now there's only one sport that's really revenue-producing sport that's doing their job, and that's men's basketball. We're close to breaking even, and every once in a while when we play a bowl game close to home, we make a little money. But it's up to the football program to help support the athletic department. I've been around long enough that part's true. TV revenue could help a bunch, but right now we don't get it.
We're talking to Rocky Long. He's the head coach at San Diego State. The Aztecs are going to take on Fresno State, 7:30 at Qualcomm Stadium. It'll be Fresno State's second conference game. San Diego State opens conference play. So with that said, before overall, your preseason is done. You're through the 4 games. Conference play Saturday night. Rocky, how do you sum up the preseason for you guys at 1-3?
I don't think we're playing very well. We're playing below our own expectations for sure, and I'm sure the fans' expectation. I'm a little disappointed. I thought we'd be a better football team at this time than we are, but that doesn't change the situation we're in. And I only know one way to go about that. The way to change the situation you're in is to work harder and try harder, and hopefully things come out better, and the rest of the season is going to be a success. But right now, I think we're very disappointed. I think we thought we were going to be, players included, thought we were going to be a better football team than we are, and we have to stop making mistakes, and we got to play better.
What are you most disappointed in?
Well, I don't know if it's disappointment. I'm disappointed because I thought we'd be better than we are. But then there's a side of me that's got a weird feeling because I've never been anything like our late in the second quarter, what's been happening to us. And if it was the same player every time you replace him, if it was the same situation every single time, you could fix it because you could work on that specifically. But so far, our collapse late in the second quarter has been different people in different situations. So I've never been in anything like it. I don't know how to explain it. I don't necessarily know how to come out of it other than to keep emphasizing those things and try to get better at it.
And so people who may have missed the game over the weekend understand what it is that Rocky's talking about. And I think I have this right. It started with Cal right before the half. You give up a touchdown there with about 10 seconds to go, I think. Against South Alabama, fumble, a turnover, which results in defensive back falling down and a bomb pass, which puts them on the board. You guys were up 17-3 at that time, cuts it to 17-10. Go into the locker room with a different mindset. And then again this weekend, Rocky, it happened with Penn State where you have the lead, muff a punt, they score quickly, fumble again with Pumphrey. Like you said, I mean, what's it like in the locker room? Was there a sense of, oh, my goodness, here we go again?
Well, coaches, I mean, are optimistic most of the time, and a lot of the time I am, and a lot of the time I'm not, but the positive of the whole situation is it was terrible. I mean, there's 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the half. We're ahead 14-13. They're punting to us. So all we have to do is catch the punt and run out the clock, and we go in at halftime ahead. But we've muffed the punt. They score after that. The very first play from scrimmage the next time with 1 minute and 3 seconds on the clock, we fumble. They score after that, and we go down into the locker room. We're way down as compared to where we could have been. And at Cal and at South Alabama, it devastated us in the locker room. We came out and didn't come out with the right attitude the second half. Well, we learned something because this week we came out with the right attitude, and we actually played much, much better on both sides of the ball in the second half than we did the first half. So maybe we're learning how to handle those things. I just wish they'd stop happening.
Right, totally understandable, because you did. You were able to cut it 27-20 on the road at Penn State, and then all of a sudden, we all know the way that the game turned out. Rocky, how did you come out of it? Sometimes you go face those kind of programs. It's a different level of recruiting. How did you come out of it physically?
We're okay. I mean, the guys that were hurt are still hurt. Some guys that played kind of beat up, they're still a little beat up, but they'll be able to play this week. And I think psychologically is our biggest concern. We put in and I don't like to say good effort, but we put in an effort. We put in a competitive effort. We tried hard and we worked hard. We didn't play especially good, but we tried hard and worked hard, and it didn't come out right. So there's a big concern in my mind, how psychologically we'll come out this week.
Rocky Long, another minute here on San Diego Sports Leader, the Mighty 1090. So now you get conference play. It starts Saturday night against Fresno State, as they say, the battle for the oil can, which currently resides in Fresno, by the way. Is it flipping a switch for you guys internally here? You were picked. People, the Mountain West Conference media, I know you always hate when I bring this up, but they thought that you guys would be very good in the West, in the Western Division of the Mountain West Conference here. So is it like flipping a switch now that here comes conference play and, okay, let's focus here on the games that we have ahead of us?
I think that's the positive deal. It's a kind of a brand new season. It's a conference play. We still have as good a chance as anybody to win the Western Division of the conference. Everybody on our side has struggled in the preseason, so there's no dominant team. On the other side, Boise State's had a great preseason, so they're probably the favorite on that side, and probably deservedly so. On our side of the division, or our division, the Western Division, there's no clear-cut better team. Every team's struggling. It's all about who's going to play well starting now, who gets a little momentum, and by the end, one of the teams in our division will be a good football team at the end, so we hope it's us.
And it starts on Saturday night. What can you tell us about Fresno State? I can tell you this. I've seen them play. I know that they have really taken a beating. They've been dealing with some issues there internally. They had to punish some players and suspend some players. But at least for me on the surface, Rocky, it seems like they can give up a bunch of points.
Well, when you watch them on film, the two teams physically are carbon copies of each other. I mean, not necessarily by position, but their talent level is exactly the same as our talent level. So they've got great speed at wide receiver. They played without their quarterback last week. Well, he's back, so their starting quarterback's back for us, of course. They have a big, strong running back, but he's not anything like Pumphrey is. their offensive line similar to ours, their defensive line similar to ours, their linebackers are just like ours, their DBs are just like ours. So both teams have struggled. Both teams are worried about confidence, I'm sure, going into the game. So this will be a momentum game, and it'll probably go back and forth. For a fan that just likes to watch football, it'll be fun and exciting to watch. Now, obviously, if you have one side picked or the other, you get very emotional about it.
You're right about that. My final question would be on Pumphrey here. Is there a sense that he's going to get it going here? He's broken 100 one time, which I don't think anybody would have expected. I'm sure you probably didn't expect that as well.
It's not his fault. I think it's all about the offensive line playing better. And there again, there was a glimmer of hope because I thought the offensive line played better in the second half against Penn State, and Penn State has a great front four. So there's a glimmer of hope, but the offensive line hasn't played well. That's why he's not getting his 100 yards. He's still the same running back, but even great running backs have to have somebody open up holes for them.
You are preaching to the choir on this radio program. Rocky, thank you as always for the time. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate it, Darren. Thanks.